Who, what, where, when, why is West Adams the way that it is, and how did it come to be?
March 13, 1939. West Adams, area number C-117. Security grade, 3rd. Foreign families, 40%. Nationalities, Polish, Russian, and Armenian Jews. Negroes, 0%. Many foreign-born Jewish people have become residents of the district and have proven a subversive influence. The area is in a state of flux.
Barrio Bochik. Though we all seem to know about the rich Jewish history of Boyle Heights and City Terrace, it's curious that very few give much consideration of the Jewish history of Greater South Central LA.
Beth Jacobs Synagogue history. In 1925, 33 Jewish residents of the neighborhood organized a synagogue in a house at the corner of West Adams and Sycamore.
Katsuchi Shinomoto. During World War II, many Japanese were forced to sell their West Adams homes and were sent to relocation camps.
War Relocation Authority, 1945. Among the passengers bound for Los Angeles from the Roher Relocation Center were Mr. and Mrs. George S. Kaneko and their young daughter of 5562.5 West Adams Boulevard, Los Angeles, California. George is a graduate of the School of Electrical Engineering of the California Institute of Technology, Pasadena.
George S. Kaneko. We're glad to get home.
In the 1940s, Armenians living in West Adams opened a church and retirement home to serve their community.
LA Times, 2008. Abraham Partamian opened his Armenian bakery in 1948. His sons, Charles and Leon, worked there, helping him and their mother, Victoria, bake pita bread and meat boreg, a turnover filled with ground lamb and lamajun.
Affluent African Americans fought to end racially restrictive covenants in West Adams in the 1940s. Their efforts opened up the community to black homebuyers.
Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, 1952. The home of William Bailey, 2130 South Dunsmuir Avenue, is one of 2 homes recently bombed by terrorists in the same block in the Wilshire district. The Baileys are Negroes. The other place bombed is soon to be occupied by Negroes. An official inquiry is now being conducted to catch culprits. Civil Rights Congress pamphlet, 1952. Such attacks have a special meaning for the Jewish people in our community, as well as the Mexican people and other minorities. To permit this example of growing Southern terrorism to go unchallenged and unpunished is to encourage its spread.
Valerie Shaw. It was 1955, the year following the landmark U.S. Supreme Court decision, Brown v. Board of Education, which my parents applauded. It will hasten integration efforts in housing, jobs, and schools, prophesied my father. My mother pointed with pride to our own multiracial model neighborhood in the West Adams area, where integration had been achieved without the courts. No one warned me. Probably no one wanted to suspect that the Brown ruling would introduce a phenomenon called white flight, and that would hasten the departure of my best friends and classmates, whom I had always regarded as my equals.
Cienega School History. Over the years, the Jewish community began migrating out and blacks began migrating in until the community became predominantly black.
James Baldwin. Urban renewal means Negro removal, and the federal government is an accomplice to this fact.
The monumental culmination of Los Angeles' mid-century westward turn was the opening of the Santa Monica Freeway in 1963. The 10 was one of several federally funded freeways designed to connect the region's growing suburbs to the city's new center of power. And in the wake of the freeways, communities like West Adams were forever changed. In 1954, residents organized the Adams-Washington Freeway Committee to protest a planned freeway that would cut right through the center of West Adams.
California Eagle, 1954. This freeway will cut through the most prosperous, best-kept, and most beautiful Negro-owned property in the country.
Lily Davis. We all went to court to try and keep that freeway from coming through, but it takes money. You have to have money to fight things in court like that. And of course, we didn't have that kind of money.
In fact, the only community in Los Angeles to successfully block the freeway was Beverly Hills. By 1958, residents began receiving orders to move. Ultimately, the 10 bisected and bypassed the neighborhood of West Adams. In the 1.1 miles of freeway between La Cienega and La Brea, approximately 288 properties were destroyed.
Lily Davis. The freeway came through. See, the freeway took in the West Adams area.
17 streets used to connect Washington and West Adams boulevards between La Cienega and La Brea. After the freeway was built, only 2 remained open, Hauser and Redondo. Pedestrian passages were constructed to connect the neighborhood's dead ends, but only one is unlocked. Recent data collection projects suggest the materiality of shifting borders in the district. LA Moss, a nonprofit urban design organization, transformed street posts into public awareness campaigns, highlighting the threats that pedestrians face when bridging the divide of West Adams Boulevard. And in 2000, the census divided its tracks along the 10 for the first time.
Los Angeles Times, 2016. Fred Sutherland's latest enterprise is the shipping container mini-village known as Adams Gateway. Sutherland, who owns Delicious Pizza a few blocks east on West Adams Boulevard, wanted to create a layout that would protect and even showcase J&J Barbecue and Burgers, which has inconspicuously sat on the corner of West Adams Boulevard and Spalding Avenue for 22 years.
I don't want to use a cliche, but in a sense, we're an incubator. To start a business in this town takes a ton of money, whereas we are just trying to get people started.
So we ask, who, what, where, when, why is West Adams the way that it is? And who decides?